What role do you think communication and marketing can play in bringing greater transparency and trust to the industry?
I think in AXA, my function would be considered to be the kind of voice of the customer. And that's my responsibility then to make sure that at the top table, people are actually considering what is the best outcome for the customer here. So we can collect the insight, whether that's from brokers or customers, and we can deliver that insight. So we do a load of analysis all the time on what our customers are experiencing, what our brokers are experiencing, and we try to always surface that so it gets discussed. I think marketing has a limited impact on things like technical wordings. Let a marketeer loose with policy wording and we would be covering everything for everyone all the time. I mean, marketing would be a fantastic place to work. There would be no complaints, but unfortunately the company would probably go bust in about a week.
I completely agree. But I guess the role of building your brand and the trust element of brand, which, is really where the concept of brand in business started. It's knowing exactly what you've got through transparency and understanding of what you are buying. There is a role there for, marketing to facilitate and enable, certainly not write the policy wording, but certainly facilitate and enable the communication of really what is going on in the world, and also marshal and understand the data and comply with the rules, but also use the data to serve up to people what they need in the insurance industry. There's an opportunity there. I think if we look at global brands in insurance, there are strong brands, but there aren't really any that achieve that level of trust and transparency that really should be, I think, for the importance and weight that insurance has throughout the world. But there's that sort of deficit of, and it probably does come back to trust. And I think there's an opportunity through data in the future to try and enhance that.
Yeah, I think data is absolutely key, whether it's to our decision making, whether it's the way we talk to people, whether it's the way we collect in information about a risk. But just think, if we could use data really powerfully, for me, one of the ways would be, okay, so we've got a client here and we already know 500 data points about this client because actually we've got systems, we've got access to platforms that we could simplify the whole process. So instead of asking the 500 questions on our proposal forms or submission forms, whatever, we only have to ask for 10 because we know the 490 already because we have the data on that. But I think at the retail end, so the broker out to the customer, I think that's a really exciting area. How are brokers using data and digital to create a much better marketing interface with their clients? Because if you're a plumber and you're insured through a broker, your premium might be 200 quid. And if it's 200 quid, that means the broker's probably taking about 40 pounds. There's a limit to what that broker can actually do for a customer who gives them 40 pounds a year in income. So it's about how you use data and digital there to maximize that 40 quid's value for the customer. And I think there's loads of stuff, like we use Salesforce, other good CRM systems are available, but we use Salesforce within AXA. And there we can begin to build pictures of brokers and how they engage with the AXA brand, when they engage with it, how they feel about it. We collect all that data in through various platforms that we then feed into Salesforce. And I think brokers could do that really, really well with the end clients. And some of these end clients, they might just be a plumber with 200 quid premium, but they might have a house, they might have a car, they might want to put their families through school, whatever it is that they want to achieve. The broker should be unearthing that, uncovering that, and growing his business or her business through a better understanding of the customer. And we need to do that as well. So we need to use the data that we have on brokers to understand how we can get growth at each broker account. I don't want to bang on about it, but data and digital process and digital marketing, incredibly powerful for driving growth.